So I do want to, again, welcome you to the Limitless Woman. And what I want to share to begin is a little bit around my story, just so that you're up to date on some of the pieces. And some of you know me quite well, so you've heard about it a bit, but I always tell it so differently based on what I'm speaking to tonight as well. So this is going to give you a bit of context and insight into what we're talking about in the Limitless Woman. And then we're going to go into your journey and how to apply it to you also. And we always love stories. Hey, storytelling is always great. So wanted to let you know a little bit, just a bit of background, and then I'm going to talk very much into the business space. I was someone who, when I grew up, I was a very high achiever, really wanted to achieve a lot in life, but I also sabotaged the heck out of myself. And I got myself, didn't seem to matter how hard I tried, how much I learned. I was one of those people who studied full, part-time and then worked full-time and just, constantly was on the go-go doing. But it just seemed that I was on this hamster wheel, and I talk about it a lot because it literally seems like it, or in a rocking chair where I was making all this motion, doing all this work, but I just never seemed to actually get anywhere, and it didn't seem to matter how much I did of work on myself or trying to fix myself and heal myself in whatever area of life. I just kept either staying stuck and not making any progress at all, or recycling the same problems over and over again. And I'll give you an example, for me with my health, I had body image issues, emotional eating issues, all those sort of things growing up. And so that would just continue to recycle since I was probably about 12, 13 years old, the same problem: gain weight, lose it, eat crap, start being super healthy diet, and this same issue just cycled through my whole life. And, I started to overcome bits of it and I became a health coach, but actually, little disclaimer here, it didn't actually go away. And I was still being a health coach and trying to do some of these things, and I was still facing this issue. It actually only went away when I uncovered what I'm going to share with you tonight, the superconscious. Same thing happened, with relationships. And so my partner, my husband, and I were together for 10 years. And all the relationships I'd had prior, it was often, this relationship where I just didn't really feel seen, heard, loved, any of those things. And didn't matter how much I tried, what I looked at, it just never seemed to shift. And so I was about to launch my business, and a few of you might know about this story, but I was about to launch my business. I'd been in it a little bit, and I was 6 months pregnant, and I was really excited to go into my business and just kick butt. I was going to be this motivational speaker, all these things. But what happened is, I thought, again, my life's starting to pick up. I'm starting to get where I want it to. Within a month, I discovered that my husband's cheating on me, and our relationship just dissolves into nothing. And I just have to ask him to leave because we can't work through it and face it. So I was then facing down the barrel of being a single mom before I was a mom, having no money to support myself because I was on mat leave, not having a job, not able to start a well-being business because I was deeply depressed and suicidal at that time. And I was just sitting there again, what is going on in my life? I did at this point 8 years of study in psychology and counseling. I'd done all this personal development, all these trainings, all of this. I'd studied coaching. I'd been in coaching a little bit, and it was still in this dismal, dark place. And I was just getting to this point where I was fed up with it. I was stuck. I was sick of it. And I wanted to get out, and I wanted to stop the pattern. I wanted this sabotage, the failure, the constant problems to just stop. And I did make a decision at that point that I was going to uncover whatever it was that was going to fix this, save this, stop this, whatever it was. And I did not care how long it took, how much I had to spend, what I had to do. I was going to figure it out. And so at that point, I went through a deep healing journey, went through lots of coaches, went through lots of my own evolution, and I actually did start my own business when my son, back up again when my son was 6 weeks old. But, I'd love to say that was the end of the story, happy clappy. Then I went into my business. It was all easy, all awesome. I became this coach, fixed all my issues, and bang, done. But it wasn't. For 3 years of my business, I had the same pattern happen in my business. I would make $5,000 one month, but then I'd make zero. I'd make $7,000 one month. I'd make nothing again. It was just this constant. And I was a single mom, and I was getting every coach, everything I put in my business, I would pay another coach or something, strategy, insecurity coach, all these things to work on these problems. That is 3 years of working my ass off, still with the exact same issue. Starting to get a little bit of progress, but then starting to get back stuck in self-doubt. Starting to make a little bit of headway and then back into problem zone again, and just low point in my business. And at this point, I was just done. I was frustrated. I was down. I was upset. And I'm like, is this just something wrong with me? Like, am I just doomed to fail in life? Like, it doesn't matter what I do. It just seems to not work. And these other people around me were like getting married and then starting their businesses and making 100K in the first few months, whatever it was. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I do it? Even though I try and I do all this study and all the things the coaches tell me, I'm just not making it. What is wrong? And I literally had done every strategy, everything under the sun, you know, been in it for years and trying. And it was when I uncovered this, the limitless woman part of me, my superconscious. That is when, it's around 2 years ago, that it all changed for me. I remember really making this decision that, again, I'm done. This is it. Like, and it's not it of like, I'm going to take years. This is it now. I'm working this out now. And at that time, what I thought that then meant was I got a strategy coach and I paid $30,000 for this strategy coach because I thought, okay, if I mean business, I really am serious. That's what I got to do. Because everyone thinks, oh, the strategy, you know, if I have a business, I get good at strategy, I make money. You know, they promise all this amount you're going to make and blah, it's going to happen. That's what I did what a lot of people do. 4 months, made no money. Worst time in my business that I'd ever had before. And I was paying $4,000 a month was coming out of my account, and I got into $20,000 of debt as a single mom by following this strategy, following what they were telling me to do, and going against my heart and what my soul was telling me to do and what my intuition was telling me to do. Every time, it happened twice in my business, I did that. It destroyed me, my soul, my business, all parts. Again, I was in this real dark point, and I said, I need to work this out. Like, I actually really need to. You know, I'm done. Like, this is it. I need to. And that is when the superconscious came. I uncovered the superconscious, really stumbled across it in a lot of ways. I really felt like it found me. And I learned about this work from a few key mentors. The first month of applying this work, I made my first $20,000 a month. I had made one $10,000 a month before, a few months earlier, by doing similar work, by energy work, meditating. I did no strategy for 1 month, just meditated on this thing. And I made my first $10,000, even though I'd done it for years without anything. Then I did the superconscious work, but I'm going to share with you tonight, almost $20,000 a month. For 2 years now, after a whole life of problems with money, a whole life of problems with my health, a whole life of problems with relationships, my vitality, my self-worth, everything, my whole life, 2 years now, it has just grown and never gone down again, ever. And I'm telling the truth. Truth is a high value of mine. It's never gone backwards. It's only gone up and up. Not to say there hasn't been challenges in that time. There hasn't been resistance, of course, but it is like I tapped into this superpower, this Wonder Woman within me who knew what was actually going on and how to actually get what I wanted in my business and in abundance and in serving clients and in transformation and in my relationships and in love and in health. Everything changed. That is why I care so much about this, and I'm so in love with this work. So, love you to share in the comments any key takeaway for you, or any question, or anything you'd like to say, or you can unmute. But I'd love to know a key takeaway, and then we're going to move on, because I want to introduce your limitless woman to you, and I want to help you tap into this so that you can also access this in your life too. Can resonate so deeply, so much of your story. Awesome, Rebecca. That's beautiful. You know, sometimes I share this and I feel a bit like it just seems so unreal. Like, it seems like, you know, like it can't be true, or it's just too good to be true, or whatever. And it's just like, it just is. It's just what it is. It's literally what happened for me and what's happened for many of my clients when they uncovered this. And so that's why I love it so much. And I'm such an advocate for it. So thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to share in there? I would love to hear some other people. Spot on with what I've been going through. Empowered and then sabotage. Yes, and we're going to look at that pattern, why it happens. We're going to uncover a bit in that tonight. I feel stuck on the hamster wheel right now, no results. Yeah. I hear you, Lauren. And it is so difficult and is so hard and is so draining and exhausting, because, you know, you can be sitting there on the couch doing nothing and go, okay, that's why I'm not getting anywhere. But when you are working your ass off and you're trying to go for your heart and you're doing what you love, you know, and also so many women I speak to every day, deeply desire their business, deeply have a core mission and a calling on their life and a deep impact they're here to make. Your soul is put here on this earth to make a unique impact that only you can make. And time again, I see them their soul being sold to these strategies that cost so much all this money, and they're promising all this stuff, but it's all just fluff. Majority of the people in this program that I was in were experiencing the exact same thing. And they were spending so much money receiving the same thing, because a lot of the time the strategy is actually like 10, 20% of the thing. 80% is this inner work, the energy work, your doubt, your resistance. Like, this is the 80%. If you get that lined up, you'll know what to do and you'll go do it anyway. And whatever you do is going to be awesome. When I actually went and just followed my heart and I went and did what I felt called to do in my strategy, I don't even have such a strategy anymore. I just feel what I'm called to do and what my subconscious tells me to do. That is when it lands. Why did it erupt my business? Why did it explode? Why did I have 100K month and working 10-hour weeks? I'm a single mom. I spend a lot of time with my son because that's why I started my business. How on earth can I do that? Because I have this limitless power that I tap into, and it does the work for me. Before, I was working at the beginning when he was a newborn, 50 hours a week, working my ass off, strategy, not getting anywhere. So this is that untapped power. Yeah, so true. I know I have blockages, but I don't know how to move forward. We will help you tonight, beautiful one. That is my role, to support you in. Can really resonate with doing the work and still feeling stuck. Yeah, it's exhausting. It's depressing. It's a lot of things. I keep second guessing myself and changing my message because I'm not sure what I want to do. I feel drawn to self-compassion, teaching, but never sure how to teach this to other women. Really common, Karen, and again, when we tap into and know how to do it more specifically, and I know you know bits of the superconscious too, but there's even more advanced things to it of knowing how to do it. I might talk to this a bit later, but I have this larger program called Alchemy. I don't know if you've heard of me talk about it before, but when I had my 100K month and in the 10-hour weeks, it was when I launched the Alchemy, my first one. That all came within one morning, within 10 minutes of waking up after I did some tapping into my superconscious. It all just came downloaded, flooding to me exactly what it was, exactly how to do it. And literally that month later, I created it. That was it. I had to do a lot of emotional, energetic work to clear all the blocks and things I'll talk to you about. But that was it. I did like 2 trainings, a couple of things, and then bang, whereas before I would have used to work my ass off. Don't like strategy. Strategy is not the devil, but there's a point to it of a certain degree we want to have business acumen in, but yeah, there's a whole lot more for us to learn. Sam's coming in. Beyond that, so glad you listened to your heart. Yes, my love. Let's help you tap more and more into it too. I feel like you know quite a bit on this too, but let's go even further. The homeschool definitely don't have time for strategy. That's right. And we don't need to. It's like, as women, so often we desire, I love my work. I love what I do, but I do not desire to sit at my computer tapping away for 50 hours of my week, just sitting there. And that's how it felt when I was doing the strategy stuff. I was just like zombie, We don't actually desire life like that. We want juicy life. We want vibrant life. All good, Sam. That's all good, Del. We want exciting, like lit up life. We want free life. We want to be out with our kids and our family and loving our loved ones. And we want to be traveling the world and working from those places and following a soul-led business, a heart-led business that we uniquely use our gifts and what lights us up to serve people in their best way. Because when we're lit up and we're doing our unique work, we serve so much more. I serve so many more women now doing this work I'm called to than what I used to as a cookie cutter little coach who did strategy crap back in the day. Because I was told by that coach that was what I should do. And that's the only thing that will make money. That's the only thing people will buy. Crickets made set 0 for 4 months. Step into this work, because it's me. I serve so many more people like this. Okay, jumping on my soapbox a little bit and I'll come back into, you can tell I'm a bit passionate about this. I'm pretty passionate because I see it all the time. But anyway, so let's dive in, ladies, for you. How do you tap into your limitless woman? How do you do it? What I want to talk to is, we'll talk to the limitless part first. So what I would love to do is give you a little bit of an experience first a bit of a taste to tap into this. Okay. Now, this isn't obviously necessarily the full explosion of how I do and all the things, but I want to give you a taste with this approach to tap into it. Yes, star. And we didn't even do the superconscious stuff. We did some other work, the energy. Okay. So I want you to shut your eyes, just get into a really relaxed, beautiful place. Take some deep breaths and really sit back into your body. Feel really present within your body. And I want to just give you a little taste, a little sensation, a little exploration of what this feels like for you. So what I want you to do is I want you to rise up. Imagine you're rising up high in the sky. Just let your body just float up high. And this is a visualization. Just keep breathing deeply. Up high in the sky. And I want you to notice that timeline of your past and your future there in the distance. And I want you to just keep floating down along your past, all the way down along your past to even the point of your birth. Just keep floating down, down, down. And you're hovering above the point of your birth. And I want you to even float further back to even before you were born. Keep breathing deeply. And I want you to just notice the soul that you were, that true essence that you actually are. And it is actually made of stardust. It is the most powerful thing on this planet, your essence, your superconscious, your power. This is your true self, who you really are. And I want you to just turn up that power, and you imagine you're this ball of golden light, like a sun. And I want you to just turn that up, those rays, brighten them, expand your capacity, expand your power, expand your certainty and your courage, your confidence, expand it even beyond that. Turn it up even further and feel this sort of force field array of rays spreading out of you. And I want you to notice every muscle, every sinew, every bone in your body is just getting stronger and more stable and secure as you tap into your true nature. You're floating there and you are this limitless woman, this essence, this being, this star, sun-like, God-like quality of you. That is actually who you truly are. This is actually you. I want you to breathe that golden light in, let it flood through your whole system. And then I want you to just see and imagine your desires of your heart. You came into this earth, you came down as this soul with these unique desires that you wanted to express and experience. And I want you to see your business, your mission, your message, this entity that is of you, this legacy that you have. It's not just this small little hobby. It is powerful beyond measure. I want you to see that. I want you to see the desires you have, the things that you desire to create, the ways you wish to express yourself, the way you want to shine. I want you to notice that, see what is on your heart. You've come here to create and impact this whole world with. I want you to just breathe those in. Feel the excitement, the pleasure, the inspiration that you get when you tune into those things. And I want you to just float back down your timeline and back to now. Just come back to your body and take some deep breaths again. And just come back to the room when you can. I love you. You can unmute or you can write in the chat. I'd love you to tell us, how was that experience for you? What did it feel like? What did you notice? Or you can unmute. But it looks like a bunch of us don't want to unmute tonight. So whatever way, you float your boat, up to you.
I'm happy to unmute and chat with you, Miranda.
Yes, Rebecca.
It was really interesting, actually. It just came to me, and even before you said it was big and gold and sparkly and all of those things, that's exactly what I could see, and I could just see it kind of pulsing and growing. And it's interesting because all I could think was I was created with fun and love and light. And, so often I get bogged down in the heaviness of my life, and I forget that actually I need to really tap into that fun and that love and that connection and that energy, rather than just all the weight of the parenting and the business and the homeschooling and the everything else, right? So that came through really strong. And on top of that, I've been connecting with so many women lately, which and the message came through that I'm just so passionate about paying it forward, and how can I build more of that pay it forward, supporting women kind of energy into my business, which I love. So
yeah, so beautiful. I'm so glad that you felt that and you saw that power too before, and that was what landed. It's awesome. Amazing, Dal.
Turn that all up.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll look at this, and how do we really tap into it? Because you don't have all day just sitting there like, like we've got to look, how do we do it during the day and things too. But yeah, that's awesome. So glad you got that. Cool. A couple of other people write in the chat too. Thank you for sharing, my love. Or you can unmute like Rebecca did. I always love to have a chat with people. Magic, power, limitless, relaxed, beautiful. Any other pieces? What did it feel like, ladies? While you're writing, it was confronting, interesting, Tamara. Can you just write any more about that, or even share a bit about that if you would like to? I'd love to know more about that. The little piece, when you say that, what comes to my mind is the Marianne Williamson's quote of, we're not actually afraid of our dark, or I'm completely probably going to misquote this, but the essence is we actually are deeply afraid of our light, and we're afraid of our power, and we're afraid of what we actually can create, and how magnificent we actually are, how bright we can be, what actual impact. So often there's more of a fear, and I know for me there was actually more of a fear of that, and of success, and of lighting up the world and being seen and not hiding. Like that was actually more fearful for me than the failure, because I was used to that. I was used to being a failure. I was used to losing and a whole bunch of things, but I was afraid of that. And so that was a big thing for me to work through. And there's a completely different navigation of how to work through that fear compared to just failure itself. Hesitation came forward, almost like I'm not worthy. Yeah. So I really love that came through for some of you as well, because again, like I said, I'm going to talk to why in the next part in a moment, but that is a very key reason as to why then we do not create what we want to create. We do not have a business and life that we want to have, because there's two energies at play here. We're tapping into one. There's a whole nother one that we're going to look at as well. To see my life as a roller coaster of experiences, yet I'm grateful for each experience, good and bad, because my limitless power grew and magnified. I'm grateful. Yeah, beautiful, Tamara. And even something that you're saying there, I know for me, one thing was that when I edged to success and started to get love in my life, or health, or, business, abundance, even the 100K month at the beginning, when I started getting close to that, there was a deep fear. It's like what goes up must come down. There's an actual thing, I don't know if you've heard about this, where we have upper limits on our life. And it's like if one area of life gets good, there was actually, like, I'm being really open and vulnerable here. That's the only way I am. That's just who I am. But there was a point in my business that I was blocking myself, and I asked, like, what was it? Why? And I was deeply afraid that if I succeeded in my work, my son would get hurt, because he was the one I loved the most. And I thought, if I have something go well, something has to go wrong. And he's the one I care the most about. These are all things that come out of another energy that I'm going to talk to. And they are the things that block us from creating and manifesting and putting physical reality around our deep desires. And it's not strategy. It's not some little action you do that's then going to pass through it. Trust me, I've tried them all. I've done it all. I've tried to, like, bash my head up against it. It isn't. It's not going to break until you break that limit down and you know how to move through that, the energy of it. So fear of more responsibility. Yeah, 100%. So there is a power in you that we're tapping into, and it is your superconscious. It's your limitless self. It is your highest version of you. It is your genius. It is your intuition power. And it is sitting there often dormant, waiting for you to be tapping into it. Or perhaps you tap into it every now and then, but it's very sporadic, very random. And it is waiting to unleash. That is a part of you that knows exactly how to create what it is you want, that actually knows how to do it very miraculously, very magically as well. So it's sort of like, there's this Wonder Woman or whatever you love to see. For me, it's often Wonder Woman I see in this, or that is that energy of you. You all have this essence. You all have that energy. And that is actually who you actually are. You've just forgotten it. You've disconnected from it. You've not remembered it. So often we think we're broken deep down. We think we need fixing. We think we have all these problems that we need to fix all those. And then it's actually not true. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to get another thing on your paper. You don't need to get another little strategy that is going to then fix it all and fix you. There's no magic pill that you're looking for with that. It's your limitless self you just haven't tapped into. It's a part of you you've disconnected from, you've separated from, you've forgotten, you don't remember. It is sitting there waiting, but you don't know how to tap into it. I've had the belief that our limitless power never ages and is internal. It's a safe space. We just need to brave. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is. And we need to know how to as well. So that is the limitless part. That is that superconscious part that we have. That is the one energy that is there. And that is the part that I have tapped into. And that, I say, alone, has been the part that is then created 20K a month, 10, 20, 30, 100K, that is then created health when I've had a lifetime of problems with it. With ease. I don't follow a diet. I don't follow a strategy. I don't have to force myself to do all these things that I used to think I had to do, beat myself into submission to create. It creates out of a natural success when we tap into that limitless part. So that's the superconscious. That's one energy, right? That's one part of us that is at play, that wants to support you and serve you and create everything for you. And now we've already alluded to that there's another energy though. There's another energy at work, and this one is called our unconscious. And this is the reason why we are sabotaging ourselves left, right, and center. We are stuck in self-doubt. We're stuck in resistance. We're stopping ourselves every step of the way. This is why the light is confronting. That seems scary. The success seems like it's too hard and we're going to go hide. This is the part of us that creates the stuckness, that doesn't move us forward. It's a part of us that we might start breaking through, getting a little bit of success, and then we'll go straight back again. That is because we're attached to this unconscious and we do not know how to often handle it and what to do with it. So a lot of us have talked to it, and the role of the unconscious is really to repeat the past. That is really what it's here for. It cares about one thing. It cares about your safety and your survival. And as a child, you have certain experiences. You start making up certain beliefs around the world. You start creating the way that it is for you with money, with success, with love, with health, with any aspect of your life. You make up what it is. You make up how it's meant to be. Then for the rest of your life, you have You build up evidence of it and you go create it. Your whole life. That is what it's there to do. That is why I created the same pattern my whole life over and over again with men, with health, with business, with money, same bullshit for 34 years or 33, 32. The bullshit's getting less and less because I'm putting a superconscious on it. But that is the part that where all of these things come from. Stores all our past memories. Absolutely. Yes. And the thing I want to tell you girls, this is a big one. You can't fight it. You won't win. You cannot fight it, and you can't, no matter how many affirmations you create, no matter how much other power you try and push against it and stop it, and how much limiting belief work. There was a time in my life, I'd done all the NLPs, all the mindset stuff, all of these programs, all of these modalities, spent thousands and did the clearing and had this 14-hour flipping experience or whatever it was, meant to be a whole new person. Week later, month later, same shit happens again. What do I think? I'm stuffed. I'm just the one person who can't be fixed. They said they fixed me, and now I'm still stuffed. Disclaimer, it's never going away. Those beliefs are never going away. You cannot change them. You can't fix them. You can't stop an emotion. You can't get rid of shame. You can't get rid of guilt. I'm sorry if you've been told something else. It's the truth. I tried. A lot of people tried. It doesn't happen. The problem is we sit there trying to do all this, fix all it. We're wasting our time. It's not. The unconscious is not going to budge. It is not going to change. Its whole role is to sit there holding on to those to keep you safe. This is. It doesn't discriminate. And I want you guys to know this because I spent my whole life, I spent $250,000 on my business until I learned this. Trying to fix myself, trying to fix my business. And it never did. And it made me depressed, hopeless, powerless until I discovered this. And if you think about this, it's an absolute unraveling. Yeah. Yes, doll. And there's awesome parts about that modality. I'm not having a dig at it, but this is a big thing that it stops us in, and it depletes us and depresses us and makes us think we're effed. I'm not going to say the full word. I normally would, but who knows who's going to watch in the background. And this is what is making you stuck, ladies. The unconscious, you think about this, right? If I get bitten by a scorpion or stabbed or whatever they do, I don't even know what they do. Sting, probably not stab. If I get stung by a scorpion when I'm 2 or 3, my unconscious is never going to erase that belief and memory that scorpions are dangerous. Do not do that again, or you may die. It isn't. I could go to all these modalities and wipe it from my experience, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but my unconscious doesn't want me dead. So it is not going, nada. That is my orientation. I'm glued to that, and it is not moving. And it doesn't have to be a scorpion. It could be the way your mom and dad treated you, or it could be whatever it is. It could be the way you think money for me, right? Okay, I'll give you an example of a non-scorpion example, money. When I grew up, my mom and dad, particularly my dad, he was had a farming background. He grew up on a farm, and there was a very scarcity mindset on that, right? Up sometimes had money, sometimes none, and so he was very afraid of losing money, and he lost his job a couple of times as a pilot. There was some, pilot disputes and all these things, and a few times he lost the job, and money was a real tight thing. I learned from like about 2-3 years old, I remember this specific time that, money is hard to come by. It leaves, and you really can't spend a whole lot on it. And he used to, bless his soul, I love him to bits, but this was stuff that I had to work through. Only buy me presents on my birthday, Christmas. I'm a December baby, so I had one time a year a present. That was it, really. My mum would get in trouble if she bought us anything else. I made that mean. I could have made it mean a whole lot of things, but I made it mean I'm not worthy and deserving of money. I'm not worthy and deserving of abundance. I'm just worthy of just enough, just a tiny little bit. And money comes and goes. It just leaves. You lose jobs. What happened in my life? Lost so many heaps of jobs. Got business, got money, didn't have money. My whole life spent doing the same thing. Never in my life have I earned a set amount for 2 years until the last, and I uncovered the superconscious. I did all the work I could, try to change it, try to tell myself all the things, whatever it was, didn't stop. Uncovered this, how to do this. 2 years, never a problem again, ever. My unconscious thought that was the way it was, and it needed to keep repeating that because that was what's safe. What it knows is safe, familiar. That is, even if it's not good. I drew in my ex. He was like quite narcissistic. I don't like saying that word a whole lot because it's thrown around a lot, but he actually was. And like the personality disorder type level. But I drew that in because that was what I believed I deserved. I believed I deserved someone who was not loving to me. I believed I deserved someone who was not present. That's what I thought love was. So I created a situation where I kept having it again until I've looked at this work and I'm completely changing who I'm drawing in now. But I spent so much money and time doing it. Tell me, ladies, you're going quiet. What are you taking away? What is happening? What is happening around this unconscious energy? Perhaps a story I can relate. Yes, Tamara. So true. Yeah. And we end up spending so much time, like fixing ourselves, changing this belief, doing all this stuff. And it's actually just a waste of time and energy. Just putting faith to sleep. Oh, that's all good, Dal. I thought you meant your faith or something that I understand. It's your child. I'm going to put my charger in because I've just realized my charger's not in. And I'd love, anyone have any questions about this so far? And I'm going to dive in a bit more into this. Any questions or any ahas? How to get through it? Yes. If we can't change it. Good work, Dal. That is a good question. Good question. Let's talk about that. Love to hear your aha. My aha of what changed? Is that what you mean, Dal? Yeah. Yes, I see the patterns, just not sure how to move it. All right, let's go into that a bit then. So one of the key parts here is that the key part I want to share with you around the unconscious, all that you really need to do is you just need to be aware of it. The main thing that you need, now there's more to it, but in sake of time and not confusing the heck out of things, the first step is you need to be aware of your unconscious and what the stories are, what the beliefs are, what the patterns are, what the feelings are, what the energies are. You need to be aware of it. And if I could tell you one thing to really shift this is stop fighting it, stop trying to beat it, stop trying to change it, just be aware of it. And just accept that that is what it is right now. That's it. First step. Be aware of it and accept that's how I'm feeling. That's what I think is true. That's what I believe is my reality. This is the pattern. Do you find it easy to write it all down? I personally, Sandy, love speaking, as you can tell, probably. So I actually speak it out loud all of the time. But if you like writing or, you journal, that sort of stuff, yeah, you can write it as well. But I actually just speak it out loud a lot. Acceptance, yes. There are parts of something that, I usually beginning of understanding. Yeah, that's right. Perfect. Beautiful. And this is the thing. There's nothing wrong with any modalities at all. Like I've just found after spending, now up to 300K on all of them and trying to done majority of them. If you say one, I'm probably done to some degree because I was a bit obsessed with, I was a PD junkie. That this is the core patterns and this is the core part that really changed it. Very aware, accept. But it keeps sabotaging. Okay, cool. So there's the first part, okay? The first part is we want to become aware, accept, just see it in all of its entirety. Second part is you need to go back to what it is that you deeply desire and want and love for your life. Because that super conscious I got you to like tap into, it has this life beyond your dreams waiting there to create with you in every part of your world. It wants to create an absolute, miraculous, beautiful, adventurous, every part. It wants to help you create that. And you need to put energy and time and love into connecting with what that is. And it has to be holistic, because I can tell you from my experience, for the majority of my life when I had my business, I was so focused on my business and creating with my business. And I neglected so much else of my life because I thought I had to, I couldn't get my business going. And so it was just like my business and my son, that was it. It's like my love life, my health, like a whole lot of other things, just back burner. But that actually destroyed a part of my soul, because I have a lot of desires. I have travel, I want health, I want, beautiful love, hot sex, a whole lot of things. I want adventure, excitement. I want, impact, influence, whatever. There's a heap of things. And I was just focusing on this business. And that's what a lot of strategy people will tell you to do, like put all these hours into all this stuff, whatever. It drains your life force. It drains your true essence. The reason I spend 10 hours in my business is because everything else I'm doing floods the energy into my business and creates even more for me. So the second part is tapping into what you desire and the very holistic wholeness of that, of your whole life, of all of who you are. Because your business will get impacted if you're not tapping into all of that. Yeah. And I can tell you, my life, my business changed when I tapped into my health more. I've gone into my pleasure more. I've gone into love, all the things. My business grows from that because I'm more vibrant and whole from it as well. So that's the second piece. And I will say a third piece. The third piece is when you tap into what you deeply desire and you feel like I got you to do before, you're going to get an insight into what to do to create it. You're going to get like a little hint, a little hit, could be when you're walking, sleep, whatever. You follow that. Go do it. Could be scary as hell. Could be like, what the heck is this? I just recently helped out someone in my month, 15 hours in the month, which is a lot for me. Like I'm not, I don't work a lot. Like it was a big, I helped him out and I was sitting there like, what am I doing this for? Like, but I was nudged to do it for free. All right, Dale, no worries. And I end up getting like this client just magnetized, drawn to me through it, and it was this big client and beautiful and soul-led, one. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I meant to do it. And I wasn't going in thinking any of that. I was just literally helping him because I was told to, like, do it by my superconscious, like. And every time I do follow that, there's these miracles, these excited, amazing things that happen. I have too many things I want to do, get sidetracked. That is an unconscious pattern, Sandy, for sure. And that is a part of your pattern. Like our unconscious has those strategies, these patterns to keep us stuck and to not go for our heart, not go to create what we want. It has a whole array of them. And it is very much because it is very afraid that you're going to be unsafe, that you're going to be hurt, that you're going to be rejected, that you're going to be judged, that you're whatever it thinks is going to happen if you go follow your heart. And that's a really great point that you raised there, is because we just think, cool, I just think about what I desire and then, yeah, go do it. Awesome. But there's this whole energy that's sitting there not wanting you to do it. And so you need to know how to navigate it even more too. So far, I'd love for you to write, what is your key takeaway out of all the things I've shared at the moment? What is the key piece for you? The thing that is landed the most. And I'm I'm going to share a little piece with you. Trust your gut. Yeah. Do the thing. Yes, it's very key. You know, so often we sit there doing all this other stuff and whatever. Like I say, strategy doesn't matter. You know, yes, but you do still also need to take action. Like, but it has to be aligned and true for you and things too. Focus on what you desire, acknowledge the unconscious, but don't get stuck there. Yes, Sandy, so good. Very, very key. To back myself and follow what feels right, not to try logic everything. Set your beliefs, see what it is, stop fighting. Yeah, awesome. Amazing, my loves. I will let you keep tapping away there while I'm going to show you something. Faith into training 2, starting her young. Oh, good. She's tuning in. I love it. I always like do things on Harry, these little experiments and whatever I find, or these things that are like tell him of his power, like even shooting hoops or whatever. I get him to focus on how to super consciously do it. Like he's going to be just like this PD junkie. I have this vision, not a PD junkie, but you know, he's going to be powerful. I have this vision of us speaking on stage when he's older. I mean, he might not want to do that, but I would like to. Anyway, let's go into this because I want to share something with you. So I've spoken very much into the consciousness tonight, and I want to show you this key piece here. I'm just going to make it like this. This key piece here is like really, you know, I say there's 5 keys to creating the business of your dreams, the life of your dreams, all of the things. And these are the essence of the 5 things I've uncovered after the 6 years in my business, the $300,000 I've spent on it, the 16 in this work and all the other things. This is the core code that I've uncovered. And I say that it's sort of like this PIN code. You think of like James Bond and there's a security door and he's got to know the code to get through. Like if you press in these buttons, like you go step through to abundance, you step through to a business of your dreams, you step through to your health and love of your life, all the things. And the first code is the consciousness piece. We've started to look into that tonight. That is around your superconscious and knowing how to tap into the superconscious, how to create from that superpower place, and then how to also handle the unconscious and not create from that place, because one creates your dreams and the other creates your nightmare. And so we've tapped onto that a little bit. That's one piece. The other piece is there's actually another element of your emotions and your energy that you need to know about. Because you can have all the focus in the world, you can know all the things that you want to create, all of that, but it's still very much in our consciousness level. There is actually an emotional, energetic level that also plays out. And if you're deeply stuck in insecurity, energetically and emotionally, or you're stuck in apathy and powerlessness, if you think, you know, you're full of doubt and you're full of fear, and it doesn't matter how many actions you take, it doesn't matter how much you go into your business and that's why I was doing all of these strategies. I got into that 4 months period where I had no clients come through. I got into 20 sales calls, but I was deeply stuck in insecurity and fear. And they could sense that energetically. And it closed them to working with me. I was trying to bluff it. I was trying to show all the thing, but there is an energy level that creates what we have in our life. And so there's more work that we want to do around our emotions and our energy as well. The third piece is action, and there's a 2 spring to action. We then need to follow through. We then, once we've done the consciousness work, done the emotional work, and we're sitting at that higher vibration, we then need to know how to take inspired action, intuitive action. There's a whole process on how to have an intuitive-based business. There's a whole process that I followed that, you know, when I got that download for alchemy, for instance, whole process on how I tapped into the superconscious to do that from that inspired place. And that is why it flowed so easily and well. But as I said, there are 2 parts to action, because there is the intuitive action, the inspired action, and then there's just smart strategy as well. There's smart business sense. And I say there's not, you know, strategy poo-hoo, whatever, but there still is 10% that relies on some good strategy, 20%. So there's smarter things that are more time effective, and there's worse things that don't work and don't land, and, you know, all the things. So that's step 3 and 4, or key 3 and 4. And the last one is your actual relationship to money and your energy and your specific beliefs, energy, emotions around money. All good, Dal? That's great. And so for me, when I learned how to specifically wire into that, tap into that, there was a whole nother level of energy I had to shift around my relationship to money as well, specifically and separately, that had to happen. So these are the 5 keys that we work, you need to work through to really come through the door. And if you think about that keypad, that lock, you could be sitting there tapping all the keys randomly and trying to figure out the code, which a lot of people do, or they get the strategy part, they tip one part in, but they don't have the others. And so they're wondering, why are they not coming through the door? It isn't about you. It's not because there's something stuck about you, a problem with you. It's because you just don't have the code. And if someone just gives you the code, you just go through. That's it. Yes, you got to put in the energy. Yes, you got to deal with some of the fears about what's around the door, but you just put the code in. It's not actually about you. That's not personal. Success isn't personal. It's structural. So you have the right structure. You have the right code. Bang, you're through. And this is why I did create Alchemy, my program Alchemy. And I'm going to spend a minute telling you about it in case anyone here would like to know about it. And so they're the components, those 5 components: superconscious, the soul, the energy work, and the action, the strategy work that we work on, and the money pieces are in that, the intuitive inspired pieces are in that. And so Alchemy, I'm going to come back to you girls, is a 7-month container, 7-month immersion experience where I've condensed all of the gold that I've found over the last 6 years into 7 months. The 300,000 I've invested into this small investment. And so I've condensed it all down into this experience. And it's nothing like I've never seen. It's no one else does anything like this, because business coaches, all these other people do all these specific things. This is a whole gamut of these experiences. We've touched on a little bit today, but we haven't gone into whole. So what I'm going to say to you ladies is, if you would like some info on Alchemy, a bit more about it, if you've found some of this has resonated and you'd like to actually activate this in your life, elevate to that next level in life, business, all of the pieces, and you're really just sick of repeating the same stuff, then I'd love you to say yes, please, in the chat. If you'd like the info, you can tell from me, I'm not someone who's sleazy. I'm not this sort of icky person who's going to then just hound you and like go, you must, whatever. I'm not that sort of person. But I'd love to know who would like a bit of info, and I'll send it to you. And then we can just see, if it aligns or not. I always call in and I always check if people energetically align as well. And I want it to be a reciprocal thing, because I only want people working with me that it's alignment. So I will put a little link in here. You can have a book, booking of a call to chat about it too, if you wanted to just book in a call and chat. But otherwise, I'm going to take, the insight of who wanted to know about it, and I will get in touch on Facebook. The only reason why I put in the booking as well, just make sure that your name is the way you are on Facebook. Because I do, and so Sandy, maybe your surname as well. Because sometimes I do this and I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll go find you. And then I'm like, I don't know how to find you. Like it says iPhone. Like I'm like, I don't know who iPhone is. So yeah, if you could just make sure you've got your full names and stuff, that would be great. But yeah, I'll send you the info. And if not, even if you want to book a call, I just love serving. I love helping. And I was in that hard place for so long in my life. I don't want any woman to be there. It was horrible, horrifying. I don't want women to be there. I want them to be free. I want them to be liberated. I want you to be in your limitless nature self. And so, yeah, even if you're just keen to have an experience to chat with me, if you're not sure about the 7-month thing, but you'd like to know other options, because there are other things as well, then you're welcome to book a call for you girls. Because I just love you. I love you. And yeah, thank you so much for joining, my loves. I really do appreciate it. Presence is such an important part. Time is such a valuable asset of ours. So I'm so grateful, and thank you that you gave me your time tonight. And I really hope you took something away. Thanks, my loves. I will look forward to, book in the call. Otherwise, I look forward to following up. And